So far when we've been solving equations, we've had answers that have had exactly one solution. But there's actually a few different situations that can happen. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So first thing is, this is really small font, but notice if you have x on each side, you need to get your x's on one side. So you either need to get rid of this positive 6x or get rid of the positive 8x. So in order to keep the equation balanced, I'm going to subtract 6x from each side. So then this is going to cancel out. And you could have also subtracted 8x too, but I always try to keep my x's positive. So I'm going to have 3 equals 2x minus 21, because 8x minus 6x was 2x. Then I'm going to add 21. So 24 equals 2x. Divide by 2, x equals 12. So I have a nice solution that comes out. You can have a situation that's called infinite solution. So infinite solution is also called identity. So I've seen these interchangeably in books. Sometimes you write identity, sometimes you can write infinite solutions, or you could also write all real numbers would fit that. That capital R looking like all real numbers. So what you do is you still do the same procedure. So you're going to do 10 minus 8a. Now I'm going to use a distributed property. So I have 10 minus 8a. So what I want to do is I want to get my a's on one side. So I'm going to add 8a to this side and then add 8a to that side. So what happens is the left hand side you're going to be left with 10, and the right hand side you're going to be left with 10, and the variable dropped out. The variable dropped out, but this is a true statement. So 10 is 10, that's true. So if the variable drops out and you're left with the true statement, it's called infinite solution. So you can write infinite solution, you can write identity, this is my shorthand for solution, you can write all real numbers, you can write identity. So if you're solving equations and their variable drops out, what that means is, and it's a true statement, what it means is you could put anything in for a. You could put 1, you could put 0, you could put negative 5,000, you can put 200. No matter what you substitute in for a, the left hand side is always going to be equal to the right hand side. And you can kind of see it early on too when the left hand side is exactly equal to the right hand side. Just like you can have infinite solution, you can have no solution. So I'm going to go on and simplify the right hand side. So you have 6m plus 7. Then I'm going to get my variables on one side. This cancels out, this cancels out. So I'm left with negative 5 equals 7. So in this case, this is a false statement, so the other one was a true statement. This is a false statement and the variable dropped out. So this means that there is no solution. There's no number that you could put in for m such that the left hand side will be equal to the right hand side. So we're going to try some of these here. So I notice how I have a 3x and a negative 2x. I always want to get my x's together. So I'm going to add 2x. This is a negative 2x. You could also subtract 3x. So this 3x plus 2x. I don't want to add 2x to 4 because that's not like terms. So I'm just going to add 3x to 2x. And that gives me 5x plus 4 equals, this cancels out, 6. So I subtract 4, started to write 6, from each side. So 5x equals 2, x equals 2/5. So that is definitely one solution. And then over here, I'm going to combine like terms. So I have negative 3x equals negative 3x plus 6. I'm going to add 3x. So this cancels out. This cancels out, and I have 0 equals 6. So when you have both things canceled out, 0 doesn't equal 6. This is a false statement, so this is no solution. And then right here, I'm going to do the distributive property. So multiplying 1/4 times 12x, remember a fraction is just multiplying and dividing. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. So this is 3x minus 1/4 of 8 is 2, because 8 divided by 4 is 2, equals 3x minus 6. So then I'm going to get my x's on one side, so I'm subtracting 3x from each side, and I get negative 2 equals negative 6. So negative 2 and equals negative 6 is a false statement, so this is no solution. And then over here, I'm going to get my x's together, so I could either add 12x or subtract 12x. So I'm going to add 12x. This cancels out, so I'm going to have 6 equals 24x plus 6. Then I subtract 6, so I have 0 equals 24x. Now notice my variable hasn't dropped out, so I'm going to have one solution here. So this is going to be x equals 0. X can be 0, that's fine. So a common mistake I see is people, get to this step and they see something that's a little bit different because it's a 0, but you can still have x be 0. So this is one solution. And then I'll do a couple more. So right here, I'm going to distribute. So I have 5x minus 50 equals x plus 12. I want to get my x's on one side. I'm going to get rid of this x. So I'm going to subtract x from here and here. So this is going to be 4x's minus 50 equals 12. So I add 50, 4x equals 62. Divide by 4. This is going to be, I think it's 15.5, so 15.5. And that's one solution. Do one more here. So I got x's on each side, so I'm going to subtract x. These x's cancel out, so I'm left with 3 equals 4. 3 equals 4 is a false statement, so the answer is no solution. So you can have special situations of one solution, which we've been doing, but you can also have a no solution and an infinite solution.